once again, the college football committee is so biased that they had to put 2 SEC teams in this year in the college football playoffs. And of course, all of the fans of the SEC teams or just the SEC will obviously root for Alabama because Alabama beats all their schools. And it's so hilarious because they're the only conference who loves Alabama, even though if they're rivals as well, which is ridiculous. I mean, you can say what you want, but having 2 SEC teams is kind of ridiculous. But it's just whatever. It's how it is. The committees always will be biased and always for the SEC. And the Big 12, the Big 10, and the Pac-12 will always be left out of the committee because you know how it is. It's just always towards the SEC. Hopefully, Clemson will win in this year's semifinals. Of course, Alabama will be playing Clemson in a rematch in a crazy, intense battle of best defenses in the country. Also, will Kelly Bryant do better against Alabama's defense, or will Jalen Hurts do well against Clemson's defense? How will Travis Etienne, I'm sorry if I butchered that last name, for Clemson, will he do well against Alabama's Alabama's defense? Will Damian Harris do better this year than last year against Clemson's defense, or will Bo Scarborough do better than last year? Of course, as you guys know, that he got injured last year in the College Football Championship last year, and the crazy last-ending touchdown by Deshaun Watson to Hunter Renfrow, and Hunter Renfrow's back again, making spectacular catches, and he's just gonna be in a crazy semifinals. I also will be talking about Oklahoma versus Georgia. That's gonna be a good game as well. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fun to watch. But sadly, we have to have, of course, 2 SEC teams in the college football playoffs, because why not have 2 SEC teams? Because the college football committee, of course, is biased. Oh, brother. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. Now, let's go through the stats for the offense and also the team stats with the defense as to compare them to against the both teams. And, of course, the game will be played at Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Thankfully, it is in Eastern Time because I'd rather watch that then than have to stay up till like 11:30 at night to watch the game. I know because it's Pacific Time and it's a 3-hour, 4-hour difference and blah, 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 blah. Alright, so right now, let's go through the stats of the passing. Of course, we're going to start off with Alabama. We have Jalen Hurts, who's completed all 11 or 12 games in the SEC West, and overall, I still feel like Alabama has like the easiest schedule of this year, playing like 2 FCC teams or FCS teams, and playing like 2 easy like non-conference Mountain West teams. But that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. So Jalen Hurts went 135 completions to 222 attempts with 1,940 passing yards, 60.8 completions percentage. Not bad. I know the passing yards seem like it's terrible, and a lot of Alabama fans will still say Jalen Hurts sucks. Yards per average, 8.74 yards per average for Jalen Hurts. 15 touchdowns, 1 interception all year, which is great for Jalen Hurts, even though he hasn't really have a good passing yards rate. QBR rating is 155.6. Now, let's go to the Clemson Tigers. And we have Kelly Bryant, who completed over 244 completions to 362 attempts. Passing yards, he has 2,678 with 67.4 completions to percentage. Has 7.4 yards per average with 13 touchdowns, 6 interceptions with a QBR rating of 138.1. I mean, this is his first year with the Clemson Tigers, and he has a better passing yards than Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts also has better touchdowns and interceptions ratio than Kelly Bryant. Kelly Bryant has a QBR rating of 138.1. I feel like Jalen Hurts is more experienced. That's why I'll probably pick, maybe, sadly, Jalen Hurts in this one for now. For the running and the rushing, we have Travis El Etine. I'm sorry if I butchered the last name. I can't really pronounce it. It's weird. He has 103 carries with 744 yards, rushing yards, 7.2 yards average, and 13 touchdowns. Now, for Alabama, we have Damien Harris, who has 110 carries with 906 yards, 8.2 yards average, and 11 touchdowns. Damien Harris wins overall, but Travis Etienne wins in touchdown percentage. So I don't know. It's going to be like 2-0 Alabama right now in points, how I do the points comparison, and see who wins in stats, and then also team-wise as well. We have, for the top best receiver for Clemson, we have Deon Cain with 52 receptions, 659 yards, 12.7 yards average, and 6 touchdowns. For Alabama, we know that we have Calvin Ridley, who has the most for Alabama with 55 receptions, 896 receiving yards, 16.3 yards average, and 3 touchdowns. Now, Deon Cain leads in the touchdowns, leads in the receiving yards, I believe. No, he does not, but Deon Cain leads with touchdowns, so he wins. So it's 2-1 Alabama. So that is like the top 3 top season leaders for like passing, receiving, and rushing. So now what we're going to do now is go through the overall team stats for both Alabama and Clemson, and let's see how both of these compared. So passing yards on offense for Alabama overall 200.1, which is 86 in the nation, which isn't great, as you guys know, because Jalen Hurts really isn't a good passer. He's more of a runner. Rushing yards, of course, they have like 2 of 3 best running backs in the country with the 265.3 rushing yards, with 10th in the nation. On defense, also for offense for Alabama, we have points for, which is 31.1, which is 11th in the nation. 39.1, which is 11th in the nation on offense. And defense, when their defense is always nasty with their defensive line, but their secondary has always been questionable, and their linebackers also have been questionable as well. But they're ranked first in the nation. Clemson, for passing, they win against passing with 244.1 and 52, which is 52 in the nation. They're 52nd in the nation. For rushing yards, they have 33. They're 33. Hold on. Whew. Sorry about that. They're 204.1 rushing yards, and that means they're 33rd in the nation overall. But on offense, they're better. Well, not really. They're not better, but they score about 35.4 points per game, which is 21st in the nation. And points against, which is really good also. They're 12.8 on defense, which is 2nd in the nation, which is crazy because this is going to be the battle of the trenches. This is going to be a duel, like a UFC octagon fight, if you want to put it like that. And it's going to go to the wire. Let's see how. I want to see how Jalen Hurts will do well this year than last year. Of course, he struggled against Clemson's defense. And let's see how Kelly Bryant does his first year against Alabama's defense. As you guys know, Clemson did struggle with the running game, but the passing game helped them win the championship last year. Let's see how Dabo Swinney does with the Clemson offense and defense. And let's see this rematch. Sadly, it has to be in the semifinals, but sadly, the SEC, of course, has to have 2 teams in the college football playoffs because, you know, the committee is biased. But hey, that's just my opinions. I just love making people mad also because guess what? It's just college football, and I love interacting with people who talk about college football. And let me know with your opinion on, did the committee make the right decisions with Alabama and Georgia. I'm going to be talking about the Oklahoma versus Georgia next on my channel. So guys, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. It's going to be maybe a low-scoring game. Who knows? See if Clemson will stop the rushing game for Alabama. But I feel like maybe, sadly, Alabama will win this game. But hopefully Clemson will. I don't really know what the score will be, but it's going to be close. Maybe in the 25-28 range. Not really high 30s, in my opinion. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a great day. 42 Sports here, and peace.